Philadelphia Eagles head and take on the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers are 3.5-point favorites. 45.5 is your total in this one. No surprise, Steven has a bet, but we're gonna go ahead and go to Brad first on this one. Brad, got an Eagles team here that, if you kind of look at the advanced stats, aren't as bad, I think, as maybe the optics appear so far. Maybe there's a little bit of promise here. Maybe there's a little bit of something that they can figure out and get right. Worth noting that Christian McCaffrey did return to practice. Now, whether he plays this week or not is still to be determined, but he did at least return to practice. As far as the running backs don't matter committee out there, I think that I think everyone can at least come to the agreement that Christian McCaffrey does matter for this offense. And so maybe a chance that he plays this week for this Panthers team, who did get humbled last week, but we kind of thought that was going to happen anyway against a very, very good Cowboys team.
Yeah, as you say, the Eagles have got some very interesting metrics. So one of my favorite offensive stats, early down success rate, stripping out garbage time. First and second in the NFL this year so far is Kansas City and the Dallas Cowboys. Number 4 is the Arizona Cardinals. So, it passes the smell test. These are the best offenses in the league. Number 3 is the Philadelphia Eagles. And Hurts, he's 12th in PFF grade among quarterbacks. So I feel like, it's a decent offense. Maybe, they've been bad in the red zone so far. They were bad in the red zone last week. That's the reason they lost the Niners game. They were bad in the red zone. But I don't think that should be the case with a mobile quarterback going forward. So I think we can assume a little bit of positive regression there, especially against a Panthers defense we still think is probably overrated. They probably tell you they're a bit worried about their secondary with, trading for Gilmore, trading for Henderson last week as well. So those guys aren't probably going to be up to speed yet. Well, Gilmore's not playing, but Henderson's not up to speed yet. So I think they can be had in the secondary as well. And then defensively, I think you could probably argue that the Eagles' defense is underrated just because of the schedule they've faced. Again, last 2 weeks it's been Mahomes and Dak Prescott, right? And obviously they've been carved up. But, Sam Darnold is not those two. Those are the two best offenses in the league. And I think betting a team that's just faced those two, again, it is probably a positive EV proposition here. So, I lean Eagles plus 3.5. Haven't played it yet because they're so banged up. Again, they could be without 4 of their 5 offensive linemen that they came into the year with. It's only the centre left, which, Carolina's going to throw some funky blitzes. So I haven't bet it yet. If we do get positive reports on that O-line, and whether if we can get 3 of them in there or something, then I would probably step in and bet the Eagles.
Steven would take a look at this one. And listen, this is a Panthers unit that is second highest in the league in blitz rate. You were talking just a second ago about the highest rate. This Panthers team, second highest blitz rate in the league. Hurts 27 of 47 against the blitz for only 57% completed passes so far. So if the Panthers continue on defense doing what they have been doing, then we do look at a team here then there's a chance here that Jalen Hurts might struggle a little bit. And Sam Darnold has actually been really, pretty good so far. Shockingly, when you get out of a horrible situation, that you're actually, maybe you can find some of that talent that people saw when you came out of college. He's gone for over 300 yards in 3 straight games. And if anything could help, a guy that's done this with what we think to probably be a sharp coaching staff and all that, the Eagles have given up nearly a 73% completion percentage through 4 weeks as well. So I do wonder if this Panthers offense is actually legit, is actually for real. And look, if McCaffrey does happen to get his way back out there, then I definitely think the Panthers can score some points in this thing.
For sure. I think I'm pretty bullish on both of these offenses. Brad mentioned the metrics for the Eagles, and they check out. They look solid. And in terms of DVOA in this matchup, it would at least initially appear that the Panthers defense has an advantage on the Eagles offense. 16th in DVOA for the Eagles offense, the Panthers top 5. But I would remind everybody that the Panthers defensive statistics to this point were largely built on facing Zach Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Davis Mills. They played the Cowboys last week and allowed 7.7 yards per play. So I am optimistic that the Eagles offensive line does come back a little healthier this week. week. Lane Johnson was back in the building after dealing with a personal matter the past week. Jordan Mailata did return to practice, at least on a limited basis, with that knee injury, the other tackle position on Wednesday. And then rookie guard Landon Dickerson actually showed immense improvement in terms of his PFF run block grade last week. And obviously Jason Kelce is right now still one of, if not the best centers in the NFL. So I'm optimistic there. There's two factors here that are leading me to betting Eagles plus 3.5 this week. It's those statistics that we've all mentioned and talked about. The other side is just the number. This number doesn't make any sense to me. The market is giving us a number that, in my opinion, just can't be correct. Both of these teams played at Dallas over the past 2 weeks. The Eagles were 3.5-point underdogs. The Panthers were 4.5-point underdogs last week. And now the line for this game in Carolina is more than a field goal. That can't be the correct line. So even if you give 2 points for home field advantage for Carolina, it still doesn't add up. And in my opinion, giving more than a point for home field would be wrong this season. If we have more than a month of sample size now, road teams are 33-31 straight up this year. The road underdog is 25-15 against the spread. That's more than 62% success rate. So I would argue there's actually not very much home field advantage to this point this year. So I'm not sure why the Eagles are more than a field goal in this game, and I'm happy to take the plus 3.5.
Yeah, the one thing I was looking at in this game is Jalen Hurts' rushing ability here. His prop is set at 46.5. If you have a team in the Panthers that blitzes as much as they blitz, and so whenever you blitz, obviously that means you're bringing extra defenders. There are fewer guys that are, going to be on the other side defending. Well, Stephen, if they don't get home, a running quarterback like Jalen Hurts has the opportunity to take advantage of the fact that nobody's home out there. And we know that Jalen Hurts is not afraid to pull the ball down and take off running, right? I mean, he's used his legs very effectively so far throughout the first 4 games of the season. And so a super blitz heavy teams like this against these running quarterbacks, I always tend to lean towards the over when it comes to rushing yards, and especially a guy like Jalen Hurts, who has pretty much made this a part of his game now, has pretty much made this a thing where he is not afraid to go ahead and take off and start running. So another look for me would be the over on the rushing yards there for Jalen Hurts. But speaking of rushing quarterbacks, this has nothing to do with anything, just more of a fun fact for this game. Sam Darnold's 5 rushing touchdowns, which, by the way, he has 5 rushing touchdowns already this season through 4 games. It's the most for a quarterback since 1962. So just as we all thought, Sam Darnold has the rushing prowess that has set the record books ablaze here through first 4 weeks. First quarterback with 5 rushing touchdowns through 4 games since 1962. I know you had that future there, Stephen.
Clearly, Joe Brady has seen what the Baltimore Ravens offense can do with Lamar Jackson and said, Sam, we need you to do that. We need more of that.
Absolutely. So rushing look for me on Jalen Hurts and an Eagles look for Steven on this one.